how good they are, how hard the people work to continue with it, because they didn't know that that's how things would be 200 years later, but they did an amazing job. All right, so don't forget to read it and go back and read it. Now, to remember, you are going to look now at pages, and you can, from uh, 394, which talks about comprehension strategies. And this one you're doing is to do with predictions. Sometimes by just reading the title, you get a feel of what this is going to be about, or an idea. And then again, it may be something that you didn't expect at all. But you try to look at what's given to you to make a prediction. That's on page 394.
But you do have to click on visiting the past, and then once
Yeah,
you click there, you can go back and forth.
right. Okay. Oh, you can't. Oh, nice. Okay, so there's your story you did yesterday, and you can go look at it, of course. But that's what you're talking about here, predictions. Now, don't forget where it says your turn. I want you to remember to do those pages so well. We'll talk about them in a minute. The other side is called comprehension skills, and we have done these with cause and effect. Remember, a cause is an event that makes something happen. An effect is what happens because of the event. All right, look at this one here. First of all, you've got to go back to the story. This was on page 391, and you learned about the young girl, Janet, and her family going to Philadelphia. That is a cause. I will read you to find out the effect of her trip. All right. So, anyway, I want you to understand that you can go back and look. You know what? Think of a little kid, you get an ice cream, you're so happy, and then what happens is that the ice cream falls off and the kid starts crying. And I'm sure you can relate to that. So I just want you to know there's cause and effect too. Now, the reading part, this is informational text. Informational. It talks about and gives information about the topic of making rules. Our nation did. It also can provide, doesn't have to, it can provide photos, captions, charts. It can only do some of them. It just depends what they believe from the author, what they think will help you. In this case, he does a chart that gives a lot of information in that little chart along with his story. So be sure you're going over these. All right. Okay. And then remember last week we were doing homophones, or the week before, and we talked about how they, the words, sound alike, are spelled differently, and have very different meanings. Well, and this is called multiple meaning words. And you have words that, remember I talked about yesterday with our vocabulary? Form, all right? The boys wanted to form the chess club. They wanted people to get together so they could play different people with game of chess. Here, it's the same principle. The colonies would be united to form a new country together. There's your clue. They want to come together. They can't have everybody having 900 different rules. It just would never work for anyone. All right. Then if you look down where it says your turn, it tells you some other words, order and state. Now, we need order. That means we need you to raise your hand when we're talking. An order can be Miss Park ordered a new dress. That means she placed information to the company so they'll send it to her. State. You can state your opinion, how you feel about something, or is California one of the states in the United States? It's used differently. So be careful with how words are used. The other thing is here's writing about the text. And he went back, got his information, wrote it in his own words. Yes, he took his information from the story, but he didn't just copy it down. He gave details. He uses the voice of how the author told him about this story and how it's important. So be careful. And you notice something, there's not 20 or 30 sentences. There's like 6, maybe to 10 here, maybe a few more. But remember that you use the right punctuation, the right, try to use some traditional words too. And that would be of help. Have your beginning, have your conclusion. Help yourself when you write as well. And keep writing, my dears. Okay? Now, the pages in the book start at 247. Here's safety rules. You know what's kind of fun with this? It kind of goes with math, where you see charts and things. They use pictures, but they're all very helpful. They give you, please write your answers in a sentence. Now here they just did, they didn't, so that's okay. I do like it when you do write in a sentence. I think that helps you. So this is a nice chart right there. Here are multiple meaning of words again. See how rules is used. See what it refers to before you try to answer. They are not complete sentences. There's one of the two that you pick from as your choice. Okay. Matsuri, I'll answer your questions when we get done, I promise. All right. Draft and model, you know how to do this. And I know you can. But some of you try too hard, too fast. Look what it wants you to do. Where could you use contractions? Where could you add exclamations? Could you build it up a little bit? Which sentence can you change to make the writing sound more like a natural speaker? Maybe it seems a little off. All right, but please write. It isn't again where you have to overdo it and write a lot. Here's where it gives information for you and the answers as well. The symbols. We have some amazing symbols that have remained with our country forever, really. The eagle, the seal of the president, the Statue of Liberty, which was a gift from France, the bell itself, the Liberty Bell. So do look at this, all right, and circle, draw, or box, or whatever they ask you, okay? All right, hold your question to the end, and I promise we will help you, okay? Any questions with that? Just hold on. All right.
I did want to mention
Yes.
that the selection test for this week, I did not change it. So it says the woodcutter's gift, but that's not true. The selection test is actually setting the rules. So the selection test will always be the selection story that you guys read on Wednesday. So this is not the woodcutter's gift. This is setting the rules, okay?
It was a mistake. So just to remember, you've already done that. All right. Now, that's quite a bit to do with that lesson, I'll tell you. That's pretty amazing. Now we're going to go to Pearson Math. You're going to do something again with grafting lengths. This one, it's 16-6, and you're going to need the ruler. Okay, let's take a look at 16-6.
You can measure the length of objects and show how long they are on a line plot. What data can be found in the picture? You can tell how long the glue bottle is. The glue bottle is 4 inches long. Use a table to record the measurement data. What objects were measured? A glue bottle, a string, a feather, and scissors were measured. Which item is the longest? The string is the longest. The string is 7 inches long. Which item was the shortest?
I thought this was tricky.
2 items were 4 inches long, the glue bottle and the scissors. You can use the line plot to show data you have collected. How is the data from the chart recorded on the line plot? Put an X that tells how tall each item is on the line plot. What does the line plot show? The line plot shows the length of each item. Why does the 4 have 2 marks by it? 2 items are 4 inches long. The X marks tell that 2 of the objects have the same length.
Now, before you start doing that daily or quick check, go back and do the assignments. You don't have to hurry. This one, I found it interesting. This one had clocks on it, which is a good thing. It's a daily review sheet. Then do your practice, and look what it has on here. Grafting. These are like what was in your math book. These are just from your homework math book that we used. And some of them you may have done in class. Green shoes, purple shoes. All right. So they're not long, but do check over carefully. You've got center activity with a star 1. You've got center activity of star 2. And you've got
the difficulty level.
You've got enrichment. You really have a lot working to help you. So please take the time before you ever do the quick checks. All right. I like these. I like them because if you don't have it, you can do it right there. There's also the games and such, Game Center. So use what you have and have available. I'd even look under math tools. Sometimes they surprise you and have some neat things as well. All right. Okay, don't forget to keep your heartbeat going, like jump rope. Maybe some of you can jump backwards. I'll bet you can. And please don't forget to get that heart rate up there. Don't read the book and jump at the same time. I don't recommend that. All right, here we go. We're going on to science. And Ms. Park, that one's unit 4. And we're doing lesson 2. And I just had the book. And what do we have? Okay, we're with plants depend on animals. Okay. See where it's listed, everybody? Remember, you can go back and look at the wonderful video that Miss Park sets up for us. Okay. All righty. And today was to go to explain. Okay, quiet, Paul. All right. Okay. There are many kinds of seeds. A seed is a part of a plant that can grow into a new plant. Seeds have special parts that work together. The inside of a seed holds a tiny young plant. It also holds food
The new
Let me get it. Food. Okay. Food the new plant uses to grow. And this one, you know what fruit this is, anybody? It's a cantaloupe. And a cantaloupe, I think it's always neat. Their seeds are nicely arranged. They're not all over the place. So you can just scoop them out easily. All right. Here are some really pretty plants too. There are many different sizes and shapes of seeds. Look at the anise flower and seeds below. What do you notice about their shape? And boy, are they different. Look at their seeds. You know what this seed reminds me of? Kind of like the kernels of popcorn. But yet, look how their seeds are arranged. Look at the marigold plant and seed. You know, they're quite impressive. And how these flowers make our world a much better and beautiful place. All right, how seeds travel. Seeds need to be dispersed or moved to a new place. Some seeds travel by wind. These kinds of seeds are usually very small and light. They can travel long distances. Other seeds are too heavy to travel by wind. These seeds are carried by animals. Some have parts that stick to an animal's fur. Remember the sheep. The seeds fall off when animals reach a new place. The seeds then take root and grow into new plants. Here's our little animal friend. He may not eat all of what's inside, maybe the seeds he's got, and leave some. So they go into the dirt. Maybe they're so light they blow away, and there you are. And then this one says, write a caption for the photo below. Tell how the shape of these seeds are and how do you think they're dispersed? Are they heavy? Oh, these are maple tree seeds. You think they're heavy? Do you think they'll float on that leaf and be taken by the wind? Do you think that they'll drop down? You know, it's all kinds of things. I love the way they're shaped like little wings too. So Miss Park wrote, maple tree seeds are shaped like wings. This helps them to easily be carried by the wind. Do you remember the story we did with the little helicopter tree and such where the leaves would fall down? That kind of reminds me of that. All right, here's a nice little video.
Animals help plants grow. Let's take a walk through the woods and see what we find. Animals help plants in two main ways: pollination and seed dispersal. Pollination is the transferring of pollen from one plant to another. After pollination, new seeds can form. Seed dispersal is the way seeds move from a plant to the ground. If plants disperse their seeds in a large area, more new plants can grow. Let's see if we can find some examples of pollination and seed dispersal in action. Let's see if the kids were able to find examples of pollination. Ola, what is this bee doing? This bee is pollinating the flower. Flowers have a sticky powder inside them called pollen. When bees land on flowers, pollen sticks to their legs and their bodies. When the bees visit the next flower, some of this pollen stays on the new flower. Now, this flower can form new seeds. This is pollination. Here's a butterfly. Butterflies also help spread pollen. Pollen sticks to the butterfly's legs, and the butterfly carries the pollen to the next flower it lands on. Let's see if the kids were able to find any examples of seed dispersal. Do you see that squirrel? What is it carrying? Oh, it's an acorn. Did you know that an acorn is a seed from an oak tree? Some seeds, like acorns, are heavy. They can't spread by blowing in the wind. Acorns have another way to travel. They can be carried by animals. Squirrels carry acorns and then bury them to eat later. But sometimes they forget to eat them. When the squirrel forgets an acorn, the seed can grow into an oak tree. There's a chipmunk. What is it doing? It's eating fruit. This is another example of seed dispersal. Seeds grow inside fruit. When animals eat fruit, seeds might pass right through their bodies. When the animal plants the seeds, new plants grow. Oh, look, one of the kids has a burr stuck to her pants. Have you ever touched a burr? They are very prickly. Some plants keep their seeds inside of burrs. When animals or people get too close to a burr, it will stick to them and then fall off in another area. This is another form of seed dispersal. Wow, pollination and seed dispersal are happening all around us. The next time you're out exploring, see if you can find any examples of animals helping plants.
Okay, this is the inquiry activity, traveling seeds. I'm sorry, just one.
Investigate how the shape of a seed affects the way it travels. Make a prediction. Will a heavy seed go farther if it is carried by a wind or by an animal? You could write maybe a heavy seed will go farther if it's carried by an animal because the wind can't really carry things that are heavy. Okay? Explore how seed travel in the traveling seeds simulation. Tap on the picture to explore the simulation. So we're going to be doing another simulation today. Welcome to Traveling Seeds. How does the shape of a plant seed help it spread? Here you have two different types of plants. Each plant has seeds with different shapes. What are the different ways seeds travel? Let's find out. Press the next button to start. To start, let's look at two different plants. What happens when nothing helps the seeds travel? So the trees just fall down where they are, and then that's it.
But look at, is that the, okay, I got it.
So now, how do I move things? I have to help make things move.
I have it.
I don't understand. Somebody.
I didn't get this one either, kids. How it moves or what, it just said 7 on there.
Observe how many of each kind of plant grows. So there's 7.
Okay. I
Record
kept
the
thinking
numbers
it
in
was
the table
supposed
next.
to move.
Record the numbers in the table next to beginning. Choose wind. Observe how many. Okay, so I have to be able to choose the word wind. How do I?
Okay. Yeah, see, some of these won't move by the wind. They're just too heavy. They have to drop there or depend on animals to come through.
I am supposed to be able to click animals and plants.
Yeah. It says online Explore House. No, oh.
No, okay, well, usually, maybe you guys can figure it out, but usually there should be a box that says plants or animals, and the animals will come and move the seeds. And then there'll also be a box that says wind, and then the wind will carry the seeds, and then you'll see that they grow more. So I don't know why it doesn't show, but you could say something like the dandelion seeds were light, so they floated better in the wind, but then the purple plant seeds had little hooks on them, so they stuck to like the rabbit's fur when they move. So I don't know why it's not working. Oh wow, this one just changed to 9. I don't know. Oh, the wind is moving it. There's no animals coming down. Okay, well, you guys can figure that out.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I tried this one last night and I kept thinking I'm not doing it right. Maybe it's just not set up correctly. Okay.
Okay, the next one is going to be the flower investigation. You have learned about flowers and pollination. Now look at the flowers to investigate their structure and functions. Okay, make a claim. What part of a flower are needed to help with pollination? You might say the long parts in the middle of the flower are where the pollen comes from. Okay. Then you guys could do the experiment. You can learn about the structure and the function about the flowers. You place, you know, if you could do this at home if you want, it's totally optional. And then what parts of a flower help with pollination? It's the long, thin part in the middle of the flower. Pollen is on this part. And then the next question, 6, is, does what you learn support your claims? So for us, yes, the long parts are where the pollen comes from. And then the word pollen comes from the Latin word pollen, meaning fine flower. I'm probably saying it wrong. How is pollen like flour? It's very like light and like fluffy, like flour when you're cooking is. The last the last thing for today is our closed reading activity, which is going to be all on pollination. A flower, and then you can look at the reread, the inspect, find evidence, make connections. A flower is the part of a plant that makes seeds. Okay, flowers help make new plants. They have special parts. The middle of the flower is where pollen and nectar come from. Pollen is a sticky powder inside of the flower that helps make the seeds. Nectar is the sweet liquid that helps attract hummingbirds and bees and other insects. Animals and flowers. Some animals are attracted to a flower's smell. Some are attracted to its bright colors. A bee drinks a flower's nectar and gets covered in pollen. The bee then goes to another flower and it moves pollen to the new flower. The new flower can then make a new seed. This seed will be able to grow into a new plant. Pollination is how pollen is transferred from one plant to another. Butterflies, hummingbirds, and other insects help in pollination. So a closed read means that you guys are inspecting, you're finding evidence, you guys are making connections. So usually if we were in our workbook, you would be doing a lot of like circling and things. So like here it says, select, read the passage, highlight the text that tells how bees help with pollination. And then this one is, what causes animals to go near a flower? Underline it. And then the last one is, what might a greenhouse manager need to know about pollination? And here are your answers. Students should circle, a bee drinks a flower's nectar and gets covered in pollen. The bee then goes to another flower and it moves pollen to the new flower. And then the other one is, students should underline, some animals are attracted to a flower's smell, some are attracted to its bright colors. I think that's all for science today. You guys have your writing as normal. You can do something you guys learned today, or an opinion, or a narrative, or in your Google Slides, you've got your selfie writing and your COVID-19 time capsule. And then the 5 things we showed you guys yesterday, you're taking a practice spelling, practice vocabulary, grammar and mechanics under games, and then words to know. And then if you guys have any questions,
you always have something to do to be of help to yourself, all right? Try the